you, there's something about Camaros. My family didn't particularly like Camaros. We liked, some of the designs and stuff, and we liked the power, but we didn't like the seats in the Camaros.
Why?
Because it was the most god-awful, uncomfortable car in this world to ride in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, this one, if you look at the lines of this
The
95
designs are nice, they're sleek, and they
versus,
have plenty of power.
that's really sleek looking. That almost...
We couldn't find a Camaro that had a comfortable seat. So, I mean, my father was an electrical engineer by trade, even though he built houses. He simply tinkered with automobiles all his life. Camaros were the only car that he would not buy.
Really?
And it all had to do with the comfort factor.
Oh.
My father would sit down in a car, and if, like I said, if his butt didn't feel good in that seat, he didn't care what the car was.
Yeah.
I said you could give him a car, and if he didn't feel good, set it. Because you're going to be driving the car for a good distance of time, good length of time. If you're uncomfortable sitting in the seat, then the car is a waste of money. My father would not simply... a trick that we would do before we would buy cars, we would go rent a car before we would...
That's a good idea. That's how I ended up with the car that I have, because I ended up renting one of those. Just happened to be the only one with a cover.
Yeah. And my mother finally, after years, because we traveled all over the United States, and my mother finally got the idea about how my father was buying cars. If we went somewhere and he rented the same car twice, she finally figured out that we're getting that car.
Yep.
But that was just always the cheapest way, rather than get stuck with things. This is why my father didn't like Camaros. Every time he'd rent a Camaro, he'd just sit there and squirm everywhere that he'd go in the seat.
Mm.
I mean, I never liked the seating on him either. I mean, I had a Camaro for a while that I inherited from a family member. I tore the seats of the Camaro out and put two Corvette seats instead.
Oh, you did?
I had to re-drill underneath the bottom to put new connections to hold the seats because they're only designed for one style seat. But I managed to get them in. But then the car was comfortable. But then when I dumped the car off, I had to take those seats out and put the Camaro seats back in. Otherwise, nobody would buy it because people weren't comfortable in the other seats I had. So.